This is Indy Next by Firestone. With live coverage of today's practice, this is the IndyCar Radio Network.
Birmingham, Alabama, the site, Barber Motorsports Park for practice number 2 for Indy Next by Firestone. This is the IndyCar Radio Network. Thank you so much for making us a part of your morning or day, afternoon, night, wherever you are around the world. Again, my name is Nick Yeoman. Our driver analyst is Davey Hamilton as the field of 21 heading out of the racetrack for the second practice session of the weekend. Yesterday's was fairly clean and very fast for a couple drivers in particular. Davey, most notably, Jacob Abel, the only driver to get under a minute 12, and he was about a full half second, clear of everybody. Impressive run for him in practice yesterday. We'll see if he can back it up today.
You know, and one of the most impressive things about that run by Jacob, as you said, cleared the field the second quick car by a half a second. He did put new tires on for that. Those are the tires that he ran. He had about the same laps as everybody else. Matter of fact, his best lap was on lap 20, which, you know, some cars ran 20 laps, some 24, 21. I mean, all in that area. So it wasn't like he had a tire advantage. So to go that much quicker on tires that were wore like everybody else's was really impressive.
It was Jacob Abel who came away with a podium finish, second place to open the season at St. Pete. Backing up that speed with an impressive run in practice yesterday. Other notables, veterans James Rowe, Nolan Siegel went second and third. Bryce Aaron was fourth. Josh Pearson was fifth. One of the issues, Davey, that we had yesterday that may be rearing its ugly head again today is Louis Foster. He came to a stop on the racetrack in turn 15 yesterday, and boy, we're just 30 seconds into this second practice session, and he's got issues again. We got a red flag.
Yeah, red flag, and it looks like the same situation. The car just looks like it shut off. Now, yesterday, it was down in, turn 11, as you said, and it seemed like it was locked into gear where they had to lift the car and couldn't just tow him in. This time, it looks like the car may have just shut off, but he was rolling backwards down that incline. So it must not be in gear, but just shut off. They should be able to pull him in and get going here momentarily. But what a bummer! What did he say when he got out?
He called them annoying electrical issues.
Annoying electrical issues, and they're so annoying because they are so hard to find. You don't know exactly. I mean, there's so many components that could be causing this issue, and you think you have it fixed, but when it's electrical, you never know until you get on the racetrack.
Yeah, Foster did get to turn 10 laps yesterday. He was only 15 quick, but boy, this really puts that team on the back foot, and again, this is going to slow this practice session almost immediately. Right now, down the back straightaway, he's got Nolan Siegel checking up. Reese Gold is there. Christian Bogle in that blue and white car, as well as everybody's getting up to speed. And finally, Davey, these drivers had to wait all morning to get out of the racetrack, and now they'll get a chance to really push these race cars.
Now it's time, and it looks the first car out of the pit lane, the first one on pit lane actually, is the quickest from yesterday, Jacob Abel, and it seems like he already is laying down some good laps on top of the board right now to 114. Obviously not where he was yesterday at that 111.999, but once they get heat in these tires, things change. They'll find some more speed.
How long does it take, Davey, typically for the Firestone tires? I know they're a little bit different from Indy Next to IndyCar, but how long have you felt over the years that it takes to get
a good lap? You need a good lap on them to get heat in them, and you do it properly, and then same with getting heat in your brakes and just getting kind of accustomed to the car. So your second lap and third lap should be your two best ones. Now, that's if you're on brand new tires. They may be on yesterday's used tires to start this session off, and then wait and put a new set on later in the session to try to get prepared for qualifying later on this afternoon.
How about this trio of cars leaving Charlotte's Web? You got Lindsey Brewer, you got Niels Colin right behind, and then Nolan Aller in that white car. Race simulation, no doubt, Davey, as Colin takes a look to the inside to try to get around Lindsey Brewer heading down the hill. But those three cars, nose to tail, not really focusing probably on qualifying laps right now. They're trying to fill out those race cars.
Yeah, and it's so difficult to pass here. We've seen that yesterday with Siegel actually behind Brewer as well, that it took him about a lap and a half, or about a half lap really, to get by her. So it just tells you how difficult it is to pass her. And then once he passed her, he was like 5 seconds a lap quicker. So just with it, like I say, again, the elevation changes. The size of this racetrack is built for motorcycles. I mean, what a great layout it is, but it's a situation where you really have to set the car in front of you.
Lindsey's going to jump on a pit lane, and Niels Colin will continue on here in practice. Niels looking for kind of a bounce-back weekend. Such a bizarre situation for him, Davey, at St. Petersburg in that first race. It was the headrest that came up on the back of that car. I don't think I've ever seen that before. He had to pit. It wasn't something they could fix, and ultimately he ended up with a DNF 21st place finish to start the year. 16th is Jamie Chadwick. We'll give you the rest of that rundown. But first, David, we got issues for Salvador de Alba Jr., the driver from Mexico. That looks to be down around the Alabama roller coaster where he got off track.
Yeah, it looks like he got off track. He's back up, going down to Charlotte's Web right now, back up to speed, so no yellow flag in that area. They're not going to slow him down, just made a small mistake, but which we see that too. It's so easy to overdrive turn 1, and when you do that, it kind of overdrives turn 2 as well. And yesterday, in the IndyCar series, 3 or 4 people went off down there, including Rossi and Rosenquist.
How important is it, Davey, when you get off track with these hot tires to not jump right back on the throttle and try to get back up to speed immediately with some of the dirt and grass?
Yeah, with a lot of grass or gravel, let's put it that way, between the two of them on those tires. It takes a while to clean them off, and as thick as we see him on the replay, yeah, he just got in turn 2, got a little bit sideways, and they actually did a really good job getting it turned around. He spun completely around, comes to a stop, didn't really go off course. And another tough part, where you're in right there, you can't see oncoming cars, so it's not, it's a little bit of a risk to get turned back around, but he's going to bring it on pit lane and check these tires out. The back straightaway, every other one that you go into, it sneaks up, whether it's going uphill or downhill or drops off. About every single corner on this track is blind.
Well, this is round number 2 of this championship. We opened the season down in St. Petersburg, Florida. That was about 6 weeks ago. So good to get these drivers in Indy NXT back on track. And, boy, they won't have to wait very long to go racing after this weekend, Davey. Doubleheader at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course. They'll be with the IndyCar Series at Detroit after the Indianapolis 500. So we had to wait a little while to really get into the juice of this schedule. But now I think we're going to start to let this championship picture play out.
No, not now. It's busy for them. From now till the end, we see a few lockups going down into Charlotte's Web. It's right in front of us, and that's one of the most challenging corners, I think, as far as it seems easy. It's really straight up, but it just seems like there's a lot of lockup there. It takes a lot of weight off the car, but you're right. Their schedule is busy from here on out. They have to really take care of their equipment. This is where the points championship really starts. Obviously, St. Pete counted, but now it's from here on out, you have to be consistent.
That's Brazilian Caio Collet, who had that big lockup down there in Charlotte's Web. He's got that car hauling the mail, sailing it down that back straightaway, back uphill. So everything appears to be okay with that car. Still searching for some speed for Collet, although he just went from 17th up to 7th, Davey, and that's with that lockup down into turn number 5. So he's certainly pushing that car.
He definitely pushing it. Obviously, we've seen some smoke come off those front tires, but not enough to really hinder him, as you said, and really a really nice lap that he was able to put down right there. So, and then sometimes that happens. We've seen yesterday with Jack Miller, really had a lot of brake lockup, but he went right at the pit. Hopefully they got that fixed, because once you lock those front brakes off, you lose all front grip completely, and you're just kind of along for the ride. Looks like Miller up in that 14th spot right now. Looks like he's gaining some speed today as well.
Bit of an off-track excursion for Josh Mason for Able Motorsports. Let's go to pit lane. Alex Wolf.
Well, one of the exciting announcements over that, I guess you could say, second off season, the lead up to Barber Motorsports Park, is a new addition when we get to the ovals with Indy NXT by Firestone with Able Motorsports, and in the pit is Taylor Ferns. And Taylor, a lot of us that are followers of the short track world are familiar with what you've done over the years, but for the Indy NXT by Firestone fans that maybe saw that announcement, not too sure about your background, take us through sort of your racing resume.
Yeah, so I've raced pretty much a little bit of everything. I've been racing for 22 years now, a lot of open wheel in a different form, whether midget, sprint cars, USAC Silver Crown cars, all on dirt and pavement. I have some pavement and late model experience, and I also raced an ARCA car with Venturinis, back in 2013. So, excited to add this to my resume. I'm really looking forward to the opportunity.
And really, when you talk about adding this to your resume, sort of how did this deal come together with Able Motorsports?
Yeah, so, I took a few years off from racing to focus on my undergraduate degree. I have a bachelor's, my MBA, and I'm finishing up law school here soon within the next couple weeks. But, since I came back from racing back in 2019, I kind of had an evolution, if you will, as far as where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do with my motorsports career. And for me, that was the IndyCar route, kind of bringing more back the history of USAC racers, coming from the Silver Crown division and going to IndyCar racing. And Sarah Fisher's been a big influence on my life since I was really young, and so, just trying to bring that back. And, I've been quietly attending Formula car races the past couple of years, and just really grateful to my sponsor, Bradford Allen, to, helping me pursue my dreams.
As you get ready for these ovals, what has that preparation process been like for you? Has it been a simulator work? Has it been a sort of going to a school literally and figuratively? What's that process been like so far?
Yeah, so a little bit of everything. You know, the past year I started working out at Pit Fit because everybody talks about how physically demanding these cars are. Obviously, you know, a lot of IndyCar people haven't come from sprint cars as of recent, so, you know, those are physically demanding too. But, you know, just making sure I check all the boxes and, you know, been working out with Jim Leo and everybody at Pit Fit. And then I've been working with Delara on doing some simulator work, both like computer sim and then their driving simulator that they have. Getting acclimated with the engineers at Able, you know, a ton of stuff, video, attending the races and taking notes, working with Skip Barber Racing School, you know, the list goes on, and I just want to be as prepared as possible.
You know, and you talk about how exciting of a time it is, you getting this opportunity on the ovals with Able Motorsports, but we talked right before we went on and sort of discussed with your schooling that this is not only an exciting time for you as far as racing goes, but education-wise too. You got graduation in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure. I always say I'm a student of the game, but I'm a literal student still. So, yeah, ready to be done with law school. You know, it's been quite a journey the past few years. You know, I was working full-time as an operations director, running my own race team. You know, my sprint cars and my U6 Silver Crown cars I own and run and operate out of a shop in Indiana, and then juggling all the other stuff that comes with it. So you know, it's a privilege to be in law school, grateful for the opportunity, but ready to be done and focus on this next step in my journey.
And I have to imagine, as you talk to Able Motorsports, with that experience you have not only with the schooling but with running your own team, that had to be an easy conversation to have with the team, to have someone that understands what goes into the business, not only on the track but off.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think the business savviness has been, like, obviously in my favor a lot, because I understand all that goes into it from, like, a financial standpoint, and also that it's a mutually beneficial partnership, right? But I wouldn't put anyone in a position to put me in a car if I didn't believe in my ability. And so, you know, I don't want to be a back marker. So, you know, that's definitely helped connect me with, you know, Bill Abel or John Bruner and even the engineers, because I understand all that goes into it. And so, you know, hopefully I think that will set us up for great success to run up front.
As for what's going on the road course here at Barber Motorsports Park, it is still Jacob Abel, and by a wide margin, he has reset the fast lap of this practice session, Davey, with under 15 minutes to go. Now at a minute 11.725. Starting to see some other drivers jump up in speed. James Rowe just went second quick at a minute 12.1. Michael D'Orlando has shown some speed third. How about Jack Miller? He's jumped to fourth.
That's a great run by Jack.
Again, it's 3/4 of a second off of Jacob Abel, but in terms of the 21-car field, good to see Jack find some speed there in fourth.
Yeah, and then what we're going to find, I think these speeds, I just looked down at Abel, and he put new tires on this time, and he just pulled out, so we'll see if he can improve, you know, that 111.7, but I don't know what tires Jack had on, but, you know, he just kind of been, we had brake issues yesterday, found himself in the back. He was 15th, 16th earlier, but obviously they found whatever's going on in that car, and he laid down a great lap. As you said, D'Orlando is the same. He's kind of been in that 10th area right now, but up in third. So we'll wait and see. A lot of new tires going on. There is, you know, just a little over 13 minutes left in this session, Nick, and they're now preparing for qualifying. They're trying to make sure they have a fast car for qualifying.
I have a feeling he will. This is lap number 3. The second lap that he turned was a minute 13.572. The timing line is what, Davey? It's that right? He's about to hit it, right?
11, yeah.
You crest the hill.
Yeah, and then it's right in, he should be crossing right there.
Yep, so Louis Foster that 14th, time. So he's going to find some speed. No surprise at a minute 12.95. We're watching Kyle Collette in that green, yellow, and black machine for HMD Motorsports. He has been pretty fun to watch in this practice session. He is third quick right now on timing and scoring, chasing after Nolan Siegel, who's making the bend through the left-hander of the Alabama roller coaster. Quick on the accelerator, lets those right side tires go up and over the curbing as he is chasing after now Davey Jacob Abel as he's going back to P1.
How about that? 111.3. We were surprised when they got into 111s. Now they're flirting with the 110s at this point. Abel, Siegel, Rowe, Collette, and Aaron right now are the top 5.
And they're getting after him.
How about Jamie Lonely Brown? She's doing a really good job this year. We mentioned that earlier on. Kind of been quiet in this practice session, but right now they're laying at 112.1 with Jamie Chadwick.
Yeah. Fastest driver for Andretti Global and into the top 3. And boy, Josh Mason has spun And car 21 was sitting right in the middle of the racetrack. We see drivers darting to the left, but that is not a spot, Davey, you want to come to an end.
Boy, and they're still coming by him so fast.
Goodness gracious.
It's a completely blind corner over that hill, and you're going at a high rate of speed. And gee whiz, boy, he just very fortunate nobody came around there and hit him. What a terrible place to spin out.
And series officials have thrown the red flag, and boy, every driver doing a really good job. For those joining us online with the moving pictures, you can see it in those around the racetrack. That is the absolute last kind of spot you want to have your car stop. Nolan Siegel will bounce to the driver's right to avoid him. Here comes the AMR safety crew. But that is always, Davey, on these road courses, the biggest fear. We had what was it, Nelson Philippe at Sonoma, probably 10, 15 years ago, where Will Power hit him. I mean, that's the last thing you want to see. Thankfully, looks like Josh Mason has escaped harm here.
Well,
we are under a minute to go in practice, Davey, as he attacks the Alabama roller coaster with all the race fans there lining up on the hill on the left of his car.
I think Abel may be the only one to get 2 laps in, to be honest with you. He's enough out there where I think he could cross that timeline before the checker falls, but I think everybody else will get the checker flag, so this session is just almost over.
Abel, Siegel, Chadwick, Gold, and James Rowe, the top 5. Kyle Collette is 6th, Bryce Aaron is 7th, and we've got a problem, Davey. Nolan Aller in car 11 for HMD Motorsports has found one of the barriers. Not entirely sure where that is at.
Turn 13.
Turn 13, you
right
got
before pit entrance, actually.
So that car has come to a stop. We are going to get the checkered flag and the red flag to end this session. Nolan Aller has the visor pulled up. He just gave the thumbs up to the AMR safety crew. And, Davey, you're getting a first chance to watch. He was following Michael D'Orlando uphill.
Yeah, it was actually, that was a really awkward place to go off the track. And usually it's a blind going over that hill right there, but usually it's coming off of that where you have the issues. And he just made a small mistake, overcorrected, and shut off early in that corner, got into the barrier.
It's a weird spot to go off, but the sense of speed. Those guys are carrying a lot.
A lot of speed through there. Yeah, you try to, it's a bravery test on braking points down in that area, and you get in there as hard as you can, and then the car loads so hard. And we continue to talk how these cars are physically demanding and hard to drive, and I think that may be some of Brewer's problem. She finds herself in 21st, quite a ways off the pace. Well, this track with so many elevation changes, there is a lot of load on the steering wheel where physically you have to be, very strong to turn these cars.
So that's going to do it for practice number 2. The top 7 all within 1 second. Jacob Abel, your fastest. Nolan Siegel 2nd. Jamie Chadwick 3rd. Reese Gold 4th. James Rowe ends up 5th. The Brazilian Kyle Collette was 6th. Bryce Aaron was 7th. About 1.1 second behind it. 8th was Salvador de Alba Jr. Miles Rowe ends up 9th. Michael D'Orlando 10th in this practice session. Josh Pearson ends up 11th. 12th was Yuvan Sudharamurthy. 13th was Jack Miller. 14th, Callum Hedge. 15th was Christian Bogle. Jonathan Brown ends up 16th. 17th was Louis Foster. Again, he turned just 3 laps in this practice session, still dealing with some electrical gremlins. Nolan Aller, who brought out the late red flag, ends the practice session 18th at a minute 12.9. Then you've got Josh Mason, who also brought a red flag out. He finishes 19th in this practice session. Niels Colin from the Netherlands was 20th, and then Lindsey Brewer at a minute 15.777 ends up 21st.
At a practice session, how the 28 car feel?
Feels good. It's weird. It's a bit like St. Pete. I feel high up in the order, but still a big chunk off. It's still a lot of time to find, especially to Jacob, but I'm sure that will close up come qualifying. So, I'm not getting too excited yet. But, the car feels good. I think comparison to when I was here last year, I'm just really happy that we've made such good progress.
So much made last year. You were seeing all these tracks for the first time. Now as this 2024 campaign gets underway, seeing a track like Barber Motorsports Park for a second time, what's the growth and development process felt like?
Yeah, I mean, just comfort in knowing that I know what's coming up, but also I think physically. This is one of the hardest tracks we come to, and I came here last year and it was so tough. So, happy in myself that we made that progress, but really happy with the team that they've sort of helped me get to this point. So, just need to keep it going into qualifying now.
I look forward to seeing what you can do then. We wish you good luck.
Thank you.